Gender equity is required by law in California's youth, community, competitive sports programs. Sports are about more than fun and games. They are key to lifelong health and success both on and off the field.
Playing park and rec sports when I was younger was a real launch pad for me. I played soccer in park and rec, but I also went on to playing softball, running track, and playing basketball. And through those 4 sports, playing those in high school, I was able to get 70 scholarship offers from all over the country. And it was amazing because it was the opportunity for me to make decisions and choices. And I went on to play soccer. And now I played soccer for the national team, and it's absolutely a wonderful experience for me.
AB 2404, the Fair Play in Community Sports Act, or Fair Play Act, is a California law that requires gender equity in competitive youth sports programs run and hosted by park and rec departments. In this video, we'll cover the main things you need to know to ensure your park and recreation department affords equal opportunities to play sports for girls and boys and equal treatment and benefits for all participating. We'll go over why gender equity in sports is important, the Fair Play Act facts, how Title IX relates and background, Fair Play Act nuts and bolts, tips for getting girls into the game, and where to turn for more help. Why is gender equity in sports important? Girls who play sports benefit with better physical and mental health, such as lower rates of breast cancer and depression.
I think girls should play sports because it's fun and you learn new things every time. When I make a basket in basketball, I feel proud.
My daughter, the first time she scored her first basket, she was so amazed and so proud of herself. And it was like a 20-point game, and she scored 12 of the points in this one game because she realized she could.
Young female athletes are more likely to stay in school, and graduation rates amongst girls of color who play sports are higher than for their non-athlete counterparts.
I had a lot of friends who some chose to play sports and some chose not to play sports, and it's crazy to see the girls who chose to play sports, how far they've gone. And on the other hand, I have a friend who joined a gang, you know what I mean? Like, I'm worried about her well-being and violence in her life every day.
Girls who play sports in high school earn 7% higher wages as adults, meaning sports participation equals greater earning power.
That sort of grit, that resilience, that ability to come back from a fail of some sort, a loss of some sort, is really noticeable that the girls who have a team sport experience are more successful.
I don't think a lot of people stop and think about gender equity, and I think it's a very powerful subject that a lot of people just need to open their eyes to. And I think it definitely starts in the parks and recreation departments because the whole community is involved in those.
Fair Play Act's really important for everybody to not just do because they have to, but do it because it's going to benefit their parks and rec community. It's going to benefit the kids that are growing up, both boys and girls. Because when everyone feels like they have a fair shot at it from a young age, it just creates a much more positive environment.
It's important for us as park and recreation directors to champion our community, especially those that are underserved. And as public servants, we need to make sure that those who are underserved, either socioeconomically or gender, that they have a place to play. There's a lot of political pressure, with a lot of those historical use groups, and so I think it's important for our us as professionals to stand up to that political pressure at times and making sure that we provide access to everybody.
Fair Play Act facts. The Fair Play Act is a California law in effect right now, and it has been since 2005. A lawsuit can be filed against a park and rec department to address inequities. Third-party leagues count in the gender equity assessment, even if they're simply using permitted lands or facilities. This means the Park and Rec Department must ensure gender equity amongst all competitive youth sports programs run by the department or hosted by the department for outside groups. How Title IX relates and background. The Fair Play Act is based on Title IX, the federal 1972 law requiring that federally funded schools, colleges, and universities treat female and male students equally. Many park and rec departments are not yet tracking gender to know whether their girls are getting an equal share of publicly funded athletic resources. Such tracking must start now. By some estimates, Park and Rec sports programs are 60 to 80% dedicated to boys, but just 20 to 40% dedicated to girls. Yet girls represent roughly half of the youth in our communities and want to play sports just as much as the boys. Fair Play Act, nuts and bolts. So how does the law work to require gender equity? To start, equity means 1, equitable opportunities to play, and 2, equitable treatment and benefits. In terms of the first part, equitable opportunities relates to the actual number of girls and boys playing on competitive teams. For example, if there are roughly 50% girls in your community, there should be roughly 50% girls in your competitive athletic programs. The exact same sports need not be offered to girls and boys so long as the share of girls participating is equal to the share of girls in the community. The only exception to the rule comes into play if the department shows that girls do not wish to play in greater numbers, through surveys, for example. However, girls are typically equally interested in playing competitive sports if offered the right way. Co-ed teams are permitted, but consider whether girls feel welcome and included. In terms of the second part of the law, there must be equity in the overall provision of treatment and benefits afforded to male and female athletes, such as provision of money, equipment, and supplies, scheduling of games and practice times, opportunity to receive coaching, and the assignment and compensation of coaches, access to lands through permits and leasing, selection of the sports season, location of games and practices, locker rooms, practice and competitive facilities, publicity, and officiation by umpires, referees, or judges. One important distinction is that the law applies to competitive sports, not classes, clinics, or camps, which are beneficial but not counted under the law. For example, competition may mean having a sustained season of games where teams play against one another, as opposed to a one-off chance to learn a sport. Imagine a department offering a boys' Little League with a full-fledged season of weekly games, but girls getting just a one-weekend tennis clinic and no other sports options. This would be unequal under the law. Offering a girls' soccer league would be one way to equalize offerings. California and Washington State have explicit laws requiring gender equity in youth community competitive sports programs, but other states may have similar laws. Community youth sports program providers throughout the U.S. should be considering whether their programs are gender equitable and taking steps to make them equitable right away. Tips for getting girls into the game.
Count your girls. Ask for the data from all of your sports leagues as well as your own internal leagues, and understand what the numbers are.
It's actually really easy for Parks and Recs department to get, gender statistics from, us third-party clubs that are running the field space.
Reach out to your neighboring agencies and see what they've done, as well as be able to do any research online about the law. There's lots of information.
Just try. No matter if the revenue is going to come in or not, just try and offer female sport programs.
I think as a commissioner, I find that there's opportunity to get more girls engaged in sports by, number one, telling the community about it and engaging with parents. I think number two, to also encouraging participation or feedback from the communities to tell the Parks and Rec commissioners what it is that girls want.
For girls, it's more about what their friends are doing, if it's a parent who has friends and their kids are doing it. And so word of mouth is often how we spread the game. But I would say that Parks and Rec programs and PE units really help introduce new sports to girls as well. Anytime that a group of girls can try something new together, that's when we find the biggest increase in participation.
The outreach strategy should be culturally specific, depending on your demographics. So not only addressing gender equity, but also tailoring that gender equity message to be culturally specific.
As a Park and Rec director, if we're offering co-ed and girls aren't showing up to play, that we're not serving them. And I think the traditional view that if we offered co-ed, then we're offering sports to everybody, that really isn't true anymore. And I think that girls really want to play with girls, and we're finding that at a younger and younger age. And so, so I would implore you that if you're offering a co-ed sport, to offer a girls and a boys. You can offer the same sport, use the same fields, but that way you will be serving those girls. And I think you'll find that the girls will show up.
Where to turn for more help? Fair Play for Girls in Sports focuses on increasing equity in sports for girls of color and girls of low-income communities. We have a website with more information and detailed toolkits to help Park and Recreation departments afford girls equal opportunities to play sports and equal treatment and benefits. Please visit today to start your community on the path to equity.
Sports are about more than fun and games. They are key to lifelong health and success on and off the field.